If you hold Casper, you probably want to stick around until the end of this video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. When we really look at the negative sentiment around Casper, it has been growing tremendously. Let's just be real here. The overall emotional roller coaster that Casper has provided to a lot of people has been rough. And in this video, I actually want to talk to you guys about why this could very well be the moment that you should be focused on Casper heavily. Because now we are seeing something very, very interesting on Casper that we could tie right back to ADA. As we look at the all-time chart for Casper, this thing looks basically dead, right? There's no way that this thing is coming back. There's no way that this thing could hit $1. I mean, honestly, people are probably thinking, if this hits 10 cents or 20 cents, I'm out. I'm done with this thing. And that's exactly what the market wants. Because even if we go to ADA, right, it had this massive run up to like $1.17. Casper, it's like $1.33 is what I technically kind of go off of as its all-time high. But this thing hit like $1.17 or so. It was after the bull run. It was like roughly January 4th. So it's kind of like where XRP even topped out. So it's not technically after the bull run, but regardless, it topped out around the January 2018 timeframe, and then it basically was dead. And during this time, a lot of altcoins like ADA were overlooked. Nobody cared about it because they thought that it was dead and it was never going to come back. It was making all-time lows as well. If we actually go back to that time, right, here we have on the chart, this is the all-time low. This is March 2020. It was the lowest point on the chart. And everyone thought it was dead. And then what ended up happening was it started to move. And everyone was starting to make YouTube videos. We're talking about BitBoy and all the big YouTubers. They were talking about, how bullish ADA is. Everyone knew about ADA during the 2021 run. And that's what caused it to surge massively. Now, as we think about ADA, right, could this pull, or could Casper pull an ADA-like run? Because knowing ADA, knowing Casper, they're two completely different ecosystems and projects, obviously, with two completely different focuses. ADA has been more so forging the retail hype train, if you will, because again, during 2021, there's a lot of falsified announcements and things that just weren't right around retail. And again, a lot of that was not from the ADA team; it was just around ADA holders. But as we look at Casper, this is more like enterprise grade focus. They're working with IBM around Prove AI. They're working with Active Standards as well with Nucleus. So there's a lot of things around Casper that are providing such major fundamental enterprise grade focus that is a lot of substance technically long term, but will it provide value short term? We don't know yet, right? It's still yet to be morphed into reality. But as we look at Casper, there is a lot more retail focus happening around gaming projects and things like that. So it could definitely provide a lot more fuel for the fire. But here we have Casper comparing it to ADA. Now, is this guaranteed to happen? Absolutely not. And you should not justify your investment off of these figures. I'm just showing you guys what would happen if Casper did pull an ADA. This is ADA right now. $1.11, 53x, 13 and almost, it's like $13.5 billion. Here's ADA all-time high, 95 billion, $7.82, 377.67x. This would be absolutely wild. But could it do this? It's still unknown. Right. And I'm not going to sit here act like I'm, somebody that can predict the future 100% because I can't. Just to give you guys a quick insight, predicting all-time highs, predicting, moves in the market. It's like it's all chance. It's all gambling, technically. We don't know what's going to happen. Casper could top at 25 cents, 50 cents. We don't know. But if we are really looking at Casper and if we're really looking at ADA, what would push Casper to these valuations? Is it going to be a major enterprise utilizing the network? Is it going to be retail use cases going crazy? It could be anything. But we need to look at what catalyst could actually push Casper to ADA-like levels. And it's more so just kind of focusing on network growth and development and use cases actually fully going live that are bringing in tons of users. That's what we really need. But outside of that, one thing that I really want to focus on here is supply. The alt season time bomb is ticking, and now is the best time to go and get your free access to 30 secret crypto gems that I personally have researched completely for you so that you can save a ton of time and make a ton of money. The link down in the description below takes you guys to this page where you can claim your free access instantly. right now, free of charge. It's completely free. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go and click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to get access now. If we go over here, one of the biggest arguments around Casper is the inflation is crazy. The inflation is killing Casper. This is Casper's total supply today, 12.7 billion. This is ADA's max supply, 45 billion. Just for reference, it would take until almost 2040. We're talking about 16 years from now for Casper to have about the same max supply as ADA. Think about how crazy that is. By 2030, the supply of Casper will be sitting at almost 22 billion. It will take to almost 2032 for the supply to double. And by the way, I'm going off of half of the year already being over. So we only have about 4% inflation left. So these numbers that you're seeing on the screen right now, these are actually inflated by a certain percentage. So there will actually be less supply each year than what you're seeing on the screen. But this is like right around that level. So think about that. By 2040, it will still have less max supply than HBAR. This is why I say Casper does have tremendous upside potential, because the supply is not going to limit it, especially even the inflation, which is 8% year over year. The inflation is not killing the value of Casper at all. Now, outside of that, I also said I've always compared ADA to Casper and how I believe Casper will be the ADA of this cycle. Right now, Casper is in the process of making a new all-time low. ADA also did this in March of 2020, right before the fund started. I personally see the Casper chart being in a macro wipe-off accumulation phase, and we are witnessing the spring forming. Many will laugh now, many will capitulate, and ultimately many will think they are right and we are wrong. Let's see what time will tell, because again, I could very well be wrong, right? Casper could very well lead to zero. We don't know, but this is ADA, right? And this is what Casper looks like right now. All right, very similar structure. Now, on top of that, here you have the Wyckoff accumulation phase. This is what Wyckoff accumulation looks like. This is what Casper looks like. Again, we could very well be forming that spring. And if that's the case, right, this is what that would look like, where we have the support lines on the bottom, right? And you have the spring. The spring could very well be right where we are right here. And from there, well, the move on the chart is exactly what we would essentially see form on this chart for a much larger breakout event to happen. Is this going to happen? We don't know. But in my opinion, if this truly is a Wyckoff accumulation phase, then this is what we would be seeing on this chart. Now, outside of this, I want to compare Casper to ADA, because if we look at both of these charts, they're very similar, right? I don't think that I need to show you guys that, because let's go back to this image over here. Here you have ADA during 2018 into 2019 into 2020 into 2021. And then this is what Casper looks like. All right. I have an ADA chart here, and then I have the Casper chart. If we are following this, first off, Casper is in 735 days of sideways price movement from the time that it fully bottomed to where we're at currently. ADA was in this for about 462 days. So we're well over this by almost 300 days. The reason why I bring that up is because we know how much ADA moved to the upside. If we're talking about Casper, the longer the base, the higher in space. Remember that quote, because we're technically in this base longer than ADA was. But here you have the all-time low, right? We have the all-time low now. What's interesting about Casper's chart is if we are following the ADA-like run, we have the level at which we broke down, right? This is the break of the support. Trail, down, sideways, the first high, the second high, the breakdown, the third high, which was a lower high, right? So we have a high, a higher high, and then we have a lower high. And by the way, we created a lower low. This was the most bearish time in the market, and this is where most people capitulated on ADA. They were out of ADA, they were done with it, wasn't doing anything. And then, of course, we have the first expansion. We retested the 2018 highs, which was in the bear market. We reject it, came back down to support. This is the original support that we lost back in 2018 that led us actually into these lows during the bear market and even into the March 2020 lows. Now from here, right, from the lows, guess what? Guess what ADA did? Well, ADA went on to do a massive, and we're talking about roughly a 17,000, almost an 18,000% gain. We're talking almost 180x return on ADA. But most people were shaken out before that even happened. Now, I bring this up because if we go and look at the Casper chart, we have the support held during the bear market, right? We have the resistance level here, and then the break, right? This is the breakdown below the support. We have the first high, higher high, and a lower high. Again, high, higher high, lower high. High, higher high, lower high. Now, the difference here on ADA is that we didn't get a retest of this support zone, not like how Casper did here. Again, ADA broke over the support zone once, but it hit resistance. It didn't actually close over it. On the weekly here, it actually did close over it, but it ultimately ended up rejecting off of it. You could also argue, right, that it's more so like this. But I personally look at it as this is the area at which we actually lost the structure, and that's what led us to, form these lows down here. So that's what I'm really kind of looking at when it comes to ADA. So it's actually kind of like that. Now, overall, what I'm actually looking at is what ADA did after, which I have the bars graph here. I'm just going to say it right now. Bars graphs are not perfect. They're not going to give you a perfect outline. I'm just showing you what ADA did after we had the spring formed on the Wyckoff, just like this. Because again, that's exactly what ADA did have. It formed a Wyckoff accumulation phase, similar to what Casper is doing right now. And if this is the bottom, and if this is our spring, then I'm looking at something like this. And again, I also have the spring formed on the chart here. And then what followed after was an upward move. We broke out of the support zone. What this would be us breaking over almost 6 cents. Breaking out, we would want to get a weekly close over this. Is actually a little bit higher, like around right there. It's around like almost 6 cents perfectly. After that, we would want to break up to this level, which is resistance from the bear market. Again, we actually go back over here to ADA. Resistance in the bear market was right around roughly 17 cents. Perfect retest of it. Rejection back down to support. Again, rejection at it. Retesting the support around like almost 6 cents, holding it, and then breaking to the upside. By the way, this is where most people will say, all right, Casper's topped out, and it's going to do exactly what it did in the past, which is just going to break down. Because again, Casper has pretty much fortified that psychologically in any Casper holder. They think that, all right, it's done, it's selling off, it's over. But that's when the biggest move of Casper actually starts. And we see that over here, right? This is ADA, much larger move. Again, fighting that resistance, chopping at resistance. So just like this, and then it gets that big move. So during that time, what Casper will essentially do is also do the same exact thing. It will chop here and then get that much larger move in the market. So that's what I'm watching for. That's what I'm waiting for. And that is also what we could really see here. I mean, although, yeah, this is, it's unknown if this is going to happen, but this is exactly how I would look at this. This is how I would look at it on this chart as well. This is pretty much identical to what ADA was printing as well, which is a Wyckoff accumulation. And this is like right around 7 cents or so, and then we would break up. So that's what I'm watching for here. It's unknown if this is going to happen, like I said, but in my opinion, I'm very bullish on Casper still. The charts look very similar to ADA. Are we going to pull 100x or 377x? We don't know. I wish I could tell you guys 100%. I wish I could say, hey, yeah, ADA is going to get replaced by Casper and Casper is going to just go crazy. But well, listen, it's unknown. First off, I think that we'll all be lucky, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, to see 50 cents, let alone $5. So let's start with one, breaking over the November 2021 highs, which is right around It's like right around 24 cents. From there, we really kind of just target 50 cents. And then that $1.33, from there we could really kind of look at higher. So we still have a lot more room to do. And plus, we don't know for certain if this is the bottom. That's the thing. But in my opinion, I do think that we're close to it. This was the largest capitulation event on Casper, very similar to ADA. So let's see what happens. I know on ADA, this was roughly a 77.33% drop from its recent high. We're talking about those recent highs on Casper. It is now down about 67%. If we follow through with a 78% drop on Casper, it would be about 1 cent. I don't know if we're going to go down to 1 cent, but if we did follow the exact move, which again, remember, it's not going to be identical to ADA. Like these charts are not going to be completely identical. But if we did follow that, then yeah, that's where we would be looking at. But I think anything around 2 cents, around these levels, I mean, if you really wanted a bag of Casper, now is the time to really kind of look at it. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.